artists, so especially when they have events, like the likes of others people, what they are doing now, that used to be me.
Yeah, man, that is Mohammed Dawo.
That used to be me in those days.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about the entertainments in those days. There was a big competition between Born Africans, Rebellion, and Dancehall Masters.
Yes.
When you come to Talending and Serekunda East and those ends, they'll be like, Dancehall Masters are the best group in the Gambia. When you go to school, you meet with the Bakaurians, people from Bakau and people from Kanifing. Some will tell you that it's fugitive, some will tell you that, it's Born Africans. So the other people from Brikama ends, the Lamen and Farah ends, they will be holding down with Rebellion, the recall. So, and Abraham Kalanja, I could remember so many artists there.
Abraham Kalanja from Brikama.
Brikama, yeah.
Yes.
So how was it like?
I was the PRO for Dancehall Masters, so I will stick with Dancehall Masters.
Dancehall Masters, why?
But to be honest with you, Dancehall Masters were unique.
Yeah, unique
in terms of vocal, in terms of lyrics, in terms of style, and then the beat.
Yeah,
you understand?
Style, yeah,
and Born Africans were also unique in their own way and fugitive. But the rivalry was more between Born Africans and fugitives.
Fugitives, okay.
Because, yes, more on that. Okay, especially when there are programs, there are shows. Fugitives want to come up when people are
too much.
Yeah. And then they will always want
Born African to play first
before them play. So that will be the beef. And then my brother-in-law Sam George will be like, so it's like they want to just put those things. There used to be a fight between them.
Like
big fight in those days. So just because many people, how we call them I will just, not you, but the professional ganja smokers. They all feel Born Africans. You understand? Yeah. And then they would like Born African to come last so that they can roll up and then enjoy themselves with the crowd. But fugitives, no. Fugitive will just like to push them because they are the hip-hop megas.
To
be honest with you, they also have their moments.
Yeah, man.
They roll. But the dancehall masters, who were standing as the kings.
The kings, yeah.
They
were special.
You talk about it, you don't talk about it. Because we use two different voices here. These are all melody voices. But Mambala used to be a very good melody, but he can rap too with a deep core voice.
Yeah, man, I understand.
So this is what makes dancehall masters
so unique, yeah. And the consistency too,
Yes.
They were more consistent than Born Africans.
Yes.
Born Africans, when they left Gambia, they left Dancehall Masters on their crown, for like ages.
But the rivalry was definitely fugitives and Born Africans. Because we were respected. We were given our crown. This is why we become the Dancehall Masters of the Gambia.
Yes. How did it came about? Who and which mayor built that center?
Well, Rokas was well established before the introduction of the buffer zone.
Okay.
There used to be a football team in Telenin called Rokas Star. Maybe many people might not know. So these were initiated by my family, my cousins, and then relatives.
Okay.
So this Rokas Star used to compete at the Neverton in Serekunda East. So this is where everything started because Rokas was given to us, because it used to be from the Bantaba. Then we moved to the Rockers because of the space. Because Bantaba was part of a neighborhood. And then we used to play football from the first Bantaba used to be Salekera. Remember? When we used to play and then when the ball used to get into my uncle's house and then destroy the windows and destroy everything. So we decided to migrate from one place to another. This is why we went to the second Bantaba neighborhood problem. Then this is why Rokas Star was there. But Rokas was there before the introduction of the buffer zone. I could remember vividly. I think that was developed at the time of Mayor Lai Conte.
Lai Conte, yeah.
Yeah, immigrating from one place to another always without the right documentation is painful. Okay, thanks be to God. I had a promise that I made to myself. I will not go and settle in anybody's land without proper documentation because I've been wise. I went to street school. I've been very smart outside the school area. So even without school, I know the game. So I went through a lot later on, but at the initial stage, things were very smooth because I went there with the right documentation, with the right introduction, with the right thing. But things fall apart along the line, which was just so family issues, and then that hindered my progress at one point, to another. But later on, that was all solved. But to be honest with you, leaving Gambia and going to Europe, I could say for me, if I can have yesterday coming back to today, I would have chosen to stay here than to go out. Of the discipline I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I realized one important thing. Most Gambian artists, or some Gambian artists, they feel too big.
Yeah.
When they have a little crowd that follows them. They started changing their numbers to become private. They will become super difficult. Even if you are giving them contracts, because I don't want to speak. I've given a lot of contracts to most Gambian artists here without being saying or talking about it. But even my partners, if they call those artists to get them on phone, it's a big problem. They have to come back to me
to help communicate.
Help to communicate, which is unfair. It's not fair. We are there.
I will just let you talk to the people that are watching us. Why is it that Gambian artists cannot be, hosted in bigger venues than the venues that they are performing? Why is it going like that?
I will not say they are not hosted in bigger venues. Okay. To the fans, no disrespect to any Gambian artist, but let us compare, let's look at things this way. The Senegalese, even the population of Kaolack is bigger than the Gambian population, number one. The population of Nigeria is bigger than Gambia, Senegal, Mauritania, and Mali put together. So they get more travelers outside their country.
Okay.
More people are
out of
outside.
Senegal that are representing the Senegalese flag and the Nigerian flag out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So population-wise, they can fill up a venue.
To all the people that are watching this show right now, this is Lura, the ultimate boss in the building. On the podcast today, I'm so honored and I'm so grateful to have my brother, my elder, one of those guys that have been holding it down with us from our younger age, on our career. He's been there for Gambian music and for Gambian artists, a big promoter, an international promoter who've been hosting events, in Europe, all over the UK, the Europe, all Gambians that are in the diaspora, if you happen to see the guy, you'll know that what I'm saying is true. So today on the podcast, I happen to have him coming to the Gambia. Last year we've arranged our podcast interview, where we could not make it due to the business of his trip here in the Gambia. But this year, I happened to meet up with Fax Bakary, Touray. Welcome on the Ultimate Podcast, Fax Touray, aka.
He used to call me MC Fax. But now he's more of a DJ than an MC.
Yeah, DJ?
And I'm more of a DJ now because I focus on more on DJing now than MCing. But thank you very much, Ra. It is a pleasure being part of your show.
Yeah, man.
This is a very wonderful podcast, and then I've been giving you thumbs up all the time to say keep up the good work. Yeah. So just as you said, that's me, being there from day one to at least day 29 or day 30.
He's a great guy, a very, very, very humble and supportive and a lovable brother. He's been supporting Gambian arts and culture for years, from the beginning of his career and his, livelihood. Fax have been supportive guy, he's been holding it down with Gambian artists all over. Every Gambian artist that is in the Gambia, whether in the Gambia or diaspora, Fax has been promoting doing his quota and part in the promotion of Gambian music. He's a proud Gambian. He's been there representing the red, white, blue, white, green. On today's podcast, we are going to talk about his his career before he left the Gambia, his life before he left the Gambia, and after leaving the Gambia, the mission to the UK, and after being in the UK, how did he manage to collaborate with Gambians to organize, to build up a team there, to start organizing cultural festivals, bringing artists from Africa to Europe. Not only Gambian artists, but they've been, bringing Senegalese international artists all over, Africa, and just supporting African culture. So, Fax, today on the podcast, we are going to start from childhood, days. Where were you born in the Gambia?
Well, I could say we part of the soul and then the cement of Talindinkoja and T-Town.
Yeah, mashallah.
I mean, that's where everyone knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am from T-Town. And then, but from there, still part of the world in general.
Mashallah. Let's talk about your school days. Which schools did you attend in the Gambia before graduating?
Yes, I've been to Latrikunda Sabeje Primary School.
Cool.
And then from there I moved to LK briefly, but later, same thing, less than 3 months, to BSTS because of my grandma's brother was moved to BS, and then that's why I continue everything. And then from Greater Banjul, I went to Muslim High School. And then from Muslim High School, I went to Gambia College.
So that was in which year?
I think that was until around 2010, 2001, 2000. Because, I had late entry in school.
Okay.
Because I was in Dara. Then from Dara, when the mission of the Dara was completed, then that's why I was fully enrolled to primary school straight away without even passing through some kindergarten or nursery level.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, mashallah, nice, brief one. Now, Fax, we are going to talk about so many things around those ends, those times of the entertainment scene. When you talk about Gambian music in the beginning of those eras, like the 2000s, the 90s, you are going to help us talk about those era of Gambian music. But before then, we are going to focus on you, Fax, on your livelihood, on childhood times. Growing up in Talinding, we all knew that Talinding is like, it started with not a big neighborhood or a big town, but it started from Talinding, Bantaba, from Churchilltown towards Buvazun. So then behind you guys, behind the Alkali, the Bantaba, Talinding Bantaba, behind then, there was a booth around those and a furrow, not developed like right
today.
now, like today. So let's talk about those days in Talinding. How did you grow up in Talinding? And we are the people that you grew up with in Talinding. How was life in Talinding by those days?
Talinding used to be one of the finest area in the Gambia because I used to tell people there was no place like Talinding in the Gambia. If you look at the entertainment industry, people like you and the others coming up, or well before you, generations time, Talinding used to be like a stepping stone for many people. For instance, let's look at it as the days where Muslims and Christians used to unite properly to celebrate Christmas. We used to have these funnel and situations that we normally have to come together to have teams where we will mingle up with our elders with respect. They are older than us, old enough, but because of that unity, nobody could differentiate, whether you are the youngest or older, but still the respect remains. But we share certain things in common. Unification made me feel proud and to be part of Talinding because I thought Talinding was the best place in the Gambia. That's why we don't move. You remember when we were staying even in Banjul, we have to come every time to come back to Talinding because there is no place like Talinding, to be honest with you. You look at Churchilltown coming down to the central, going down up to the buffer zone. Come on, we dominated the Gambia. It is the sweetest part. And then the place to live and feel happy. Come on, no place like T-Town.
Yeah, T-Town, it's really amazing. Now, let's talk about the coming of the buffer zone and the Rockers Field.
Yes.
When did they build it? Can you remember the year they built that Rockers Field and the buffer zone?
Yes.
How did it came about? Who and which mayor built that center?
Well, Rockers was well established before the introduction of the buffer zone.
Okay.
There used to be a football team in Talinding called Rocker Star. Maybe many people might not know. So these were initiated by my family, my cousins, and then relatives.
Okay.
So this Rocker Star used to compete at the Neverton in Serekunda East. So this is where everything started because Rockers was given to us, because it used to be from the Bantaba, then we moved to the Rockers because of the space, because Bantaba was part of a neighborhood, and then we used to play football from the first Bantaba used to be Salekera, you remember, when we used to play, and then when the ball used to get into my uncle's house, and then destroy the windows and destroy everything, so we decided to migrate from one place to another. This is why we went to the second Bantaba neighborhood problem. Then this is why Rockers Star was there. But Rockers was there before the introduction of Buffer Zone. I could remember vividly. I think that was developed at the time of Mayor Lai Conte.
Lai Conte, yeah.
Mayor Lai Conte's time. That was the time that.
The time he was ruling KMC before Banyul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You understand? So that was the time everything came. So now they've created the fence. From the fence, they divided it. They made a playground. Those playgrounds were made for kids. And then the Rockers was reserved. And then still for football. So we divided it into, I think, 3 or 4 pitches.
It's 3 pitches.
3 pitches. That was there. So that remains up to today. But I was surprised that I thought it could have developed.
Yeah.
At least you can get 3G pitches or grasses. But it still remains. But thanks to Lai Conte, he initiated that.
He initiated it. Now, the coming of Buffer Zone. Let's talk about the coming of Buffer Zone, where many events used to be held in those days, in the early days of Born Africans, Born Dancehall Masters, where all of you guys started your career and the entertainment scene. So let's talk about the coming of Buffer Zone. How did the Buffer Zone,
Buffer Zone was like a university for a lot of musicians in those days. I want to remind or to send a message or to remind people about one important thing. In those days, music was all about preaching. You look at what affects you, what affects the community, you come up with the lyrics to sing and then to educate people about it. Music was done not for money, but for passion, and then for education and entertainment purpose. So musicians in those days had that passion to sing, to educate, and also to send a very significant message to the community. Especially when we have burning issues. You remember those days, Jurdom Sani was very common in the Gambia. Sacha. You remember Black Nature. Samawajide Sachala. You remember all those things. And then a lot of those things were happening. So this is why music was very competitive in those days. Without money. Without the influence of the internet. But Buffer Zone was serving as a university. You must step in Buffer Zone before people know who you are.
Before you be noticed.
Yes, exactly. Buffer Zone was just the foundation, the stepping stone. That was a very good idea behind, Lai Conte's regime, and then the people that surrounded him to give us to have those things, to be given that opportunity and to give us that platform so that entertainment could be done every time in the Gambia.
Yeah, mashallah. Now, Fax, let's talk about you coming into the music scene and the entertainment scene as an MC. When did you started, having... Because I could remember you were an artist.
Many people don't know that. I used to be the lead vocal for Surprising Brothers. So I used to. Many people don't know that about me. Surprising Brothers. I used to sing. I used to be lead vocal. But later on, when you get parents who will tell you, I'm from Imam Kunda.
Yeah.
So my mother's side is Imam. My father's side is Imam.
Yeah.
So that kind of message, they couldn't sit well with it.
Yeah.
So they decided to, say this is not your way. This is this. So I decided to focus more on education, but never forget about entertainment. So I dropped the musical, I dropped the mic by giving my voice to sing. So I decided to still help artists come up to entertain and also to put them on the right track.
Yeah,
so Surprising Brothers.
Wonderful. I remember the name of the group, those days, Yeah, with the lights of Hamalaji, with the lights of this thing. There was a group in just beside the Talindi market. The small market there,
No,
Gestuji.
Gestuji, and
Yeah,
also Hamalaji.
Hamalaji,
You were
yeah.
there, so
Most of
and
them.
Halima B things. So you get a lot of groups in those days.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that's how you started, drop the music side, and then you start doing your MC career on even hosting events of dancehall masters, Joko. We could see.
Yeah. Even DJ Kora's time.
DJ Kora's
and
time,
then I remember when there were classes between Champion Sound and DJ Kora, I used to get the mic to introduce them on stage when DJ Kora was launching one of his albums and then major albums. In those days I used to hold the mic.
Yeah.
I used to hold the mic for many artists, so especially when they're having events like the likes of other people, what they are doing now.
Yeah, man.
That used to be me.
Yeah, man. That is Mohammed Dawood.
Yeah, that used to be me in those days.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about the entertainments in those days. There was a big competition between Born Africans, Rebellion, and dancehall masters.
Yes.
When you come to Talending and Serekunda East and those ends, they'll be like, dancehall masters are the best group in the Gambia. Mm-hmm. When you go to school, you meet with the Bakaurians, people from Bakau and people from Kanifing. Mm-hmm. Some will tell you that it's fugitives, some will tell you that, it's born Africans. Mm-hmm. So the other people from Brikama ends, Lamen and Farah ends, they will be holding down with Rebellion, the recall. So, and Abraham Kalanja, I could remember so many artists there.
Abraham Kalanja from Brikama.
Brikama, yeah.
Yes.
So how was it like? Let's talk about those days. How was the competition and everybody that was holding down with it? Yeah. So who were your favorite group those days?
I was the PRO for Dancehall Masters, so I will stick with Dancehall Masters.
Dancehall Masters, why?
But to be honest with you, Dancehall Masters were unique.
Yeah, unique
in terms of vocal, in terms of lyrics, in terms of style, and then the beat.
Yeah,
you understand?
Style, yeah,
and Born Africans were also unique in their own way and fugitive. But the rivalry was more between Born Africans and fugitives.
Fugitives, okay.
Because, yes, more on that. Okay, especially when there are programs, there are shows. Fugitives want to come up when people are
too much.
Yeah. And then they will always want
Born African to play first
before them play. So that will be the beef. And then my brother-in-law Sam George will be like, so it's like they want to just put those things. There used to be a fight between them.
Like serious.
Like big fight in those days. So just because many people, how we call them I will just, not you, but the professional ganja smokers.
Yeah, okay.
They all feel Born Africans.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And then they would like Born African to come last so that they can roll up and then enjoy themselves with the crowd. But fugitives, no. Fugitive will just like to push them because they are the hip-hop megas.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, they also have their moments.
Yeah, man.
They roll. But the dancehall masters, who were standing as the kings.
The kings, yeah.
Yeah.
They were special.
You talk about it, you don't talk about it. Because we use two different voices here. These are all melody voices. But Mambala used to be a very good melody, but he can rap with a deep core voice.
Yeah, man, I understand.
So this is what makes dancehall masters
so unique, yeah. And
so
the consistency too,
Yes.
They were more consistent than Born Africans.
Yes.
Born Africans, when they left Gambia, they left dancehall masters on their crown, for like ages. Dancehall masters was holding down with the Gambian music, after the Born Africans left.
Yes.
So
this was it. But the rivalry was definitely fugitives and Born Africans. Because we were respected. We were given our crown.
Yeah,
this is why we become the dancehall masters of the Gambia. In those days.
So now let's talk about traveling of artists and them fading away. We could see like Maslabi, the Born Africans, name them, all of the artists that traveled those days easily, get lost in Europe, or you just go to Europe and you leave the music behind, So let's talk about those days, the issues that make artists not to come back in the Gambia when they travel to Europe.
Okay, problem number one was financial sufficiency.
Okay.
Because, music was not paid in the Gambia. Shows were not paid in the Gambia. Promoters were not promoting local music to that level. So what happened was they will invest more on Senegalese and other artists than local one. Because I remember there was a big issue when we were trying to get Asan Gay. By then he didn't even have an album. I used to take them to Gambia College with Fugitives, with Dancehall Master and Royal Family in those days. 4. And then there was one called Abraham College and Philanthropist. They are all from Brikama.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you remember them.
Yeah.
Okay. So we used to have a very, very big collaboration in those days, just to make sure that local community patronize local artists.
Yeah.
So, but the internet was not at their favor. And then what they were seeing on tele, how musicians were paid in America and the other part of the world, that's what inspired them to travel outside. So thinking if they go work permit could allow them to look exactly like those people, but they never read, the things that are involved in traveling without proper documentation.
I understand.
So this is why when their music was not paid, the Gambia government did not create any scheme that will help them to sustain them in the Gambia, to pay for their recordings, to also make them to have something for their families. I think that was a big blow. Most of them were discouraged. They were looking for a single opportunity. So that is why when the opportunity came, most of them capitalized on those opportunities and left the Gambia.
It's a real fact. It's reasonable though. Yeah. It's really making sense. Like it makes sense from the conversation you are talking about. Yeah. Those days, like music in the Gambia, we could say the tickets were not up to even $50.
No.
Gambian musicians were collecting $25 at gates.
Yeah. Even 10,
35,
even 10 sometimes.
10, in school programs.
School shows,
school shows, they collect $10 to $15. Yeah. So which was not paying, It was just for the passion and for the love and for the hype too, and most of them for the girls. So Fax, when did you left the Gambia to the UK?
I think,
and what was the mission? How?
Okay, I did not leave for the UK straight away. I went on a educational mission. That was ending of 2005. So we were the batch that went to Havana, Cuba to study sports medicine, sports science.
Okay.
We were the lucky ones to be sent by the central government to represent the rest of you and others to study so that we can come back and then invest in the Gambia or pay back to the community. So that is how my traveling started. So, but it was very interesting. So when I was leaving, Gambian music was crumbling. They were doing something, but they were not there because the motivation was lacking. So we deem it important also to upgrade ourselves educationally. To also upgrade ourselves educationally so that we can come back and give back to the community. So this is why I left the Gambia and then went for what we call an educational mission. But later on, I came back and then later went back to the UK.
UK. That was in which year?
I started going to the UK 2008. And then I changed my documents around ending of 2008, 2009.
Mashallah.
That's the time I changed my documents to able to go and come back.
Yeah. Then, Broske, now let's talk about life in UK. The first time you went to the UK, with fresh from the Gambia and thinking that when you go to Europe, those days, life will be better so easily. Let's talk about the little struggles in UK before, settling down, so that we can inspire and motivate some of the youths, take the youths that are here, thinking that when you go to the UK, freshly, when you go there, you can just make life easier for yourself,
Yeah, immigrating from one place to another always without the right documentation is painful. Okay, thanks be to God, I had a promise that I made to myself. I will not go and settle in anybody's land without proper documentation because I've been wise. I went to straight school. I've been very smart outside the school area. So even without school, I know the game. So I went through a lot later on, but at the initial stage, things were very smooth because I went there with the right documentation, with the right introduction, with the right thing. But things fall apart along the line, which was just so family issues, and then that hindered my progress at one point, to another. But later on, that was all solved. But to be honest with you, leaving Gambia and going to Europe, I could say for me, if I can have yesterday coming back to today,
Today,
I would have chosen to stay here
wow.
than to go out. Because what happened is, if you go with that mindset, with that dream, before you realize where to lay your foundation, time has gone.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the time because I know exactly when I was here, I was achieving a lot. You know, many people know.
Yeah.
So even when I was working here, what I could do for myself, what I could get, and left them all here and then gone down there, it took time before I get onto the,
System.
to the system.
Yeah.
So getting into that system, you will burn more than 3, 4, 5 years.
Yes, yeah.
And then
To
for
catch
me,
up.
Alhamdulillah, I didn't reach to that level. But for some that I know that I was dealing with, that I was helping around, they spent decades before they could able to settle down.
Settle down.
So
in the
putting
UK.
all those things together, you make that here, work here, get your kids rightly on time.
Yeah, your
I
family.
think your family
Yeah.
is very important.
It's important.
Because Babylon is Babylon.
Yeah.
They work with a system, and then nobody can easily come and beat that system without passing through some hurdles or obstacles.
Yeah.
So this is why I said if I can bring back yesterday, I would have been here.
Prefer to stay.
Stay here.
To
Just
start
go
your
and
life.
come back.
Yeah.
Do my business.
Mashallah.
That's it.
Now you've been engaging in the entertainment scene in UK, promoting Gambian music and promoting even Senegambia, like African music there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your international, link up with Gambian. How did you get into the entertainment scene, and how did you start the movement there to start bringing artists? Let's talk about more on that side of you and with the Gambians, that are there that you are working with.
Okay.
When did it started, and how did you start creating that group and initiative?
Yes. What I did was when I stayed in the UK permanently, I upgraded myself once again. I educated myself.
Yeah.
Okay, familiarized myself with the system. So later on, before even doing a DJ, because I was doing a DJ thing since when I was in Havana. So, but when I came, before I rolled back into becoming a DJ again in the UK, I have a career different from a DJ career, professional career.
Yeah.
So I upgraded myself. I went to school again. I got my qualification, and I work full time to able to get something on my table. Then I registered my own business, entertainment firm, called Manding Entertainment Limited.
Yeah, mashallah.
So when I established that, I decided to reach out to the community. Started my DJ business, and then I become very, very smooth
in working
with the community.
Yeah.
Very smooth in doing my job as a DJ, and very smooth try to link up with people, because that's the most important. The PR is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So let them believe you, let them trust you. Then I introduced, because I started communicating to people in different language, in different dimension, but they couldn't understand. So I created something that will send them a message so that I could have a response to them. It's just like a preacher man. You preaching, Yalla Mune, God says this. They did not listen, but you can capture them through the language that they understand. So I created what we call Gudi Jongoma Aksware Senegambian. So when I created that with my team, they started responding. And then, to be fair enough, if you get all the ladies responding to your call, you'll get the men. So now, when I got the ladies, they started communicating to their husbands, their partners. So we created a big group called Gudi Jongama. To be honest, I'm the only male in that group.
Wow.
But that being the head boy in that group makes things successful.
Right, mashallah.
So the women of Birmingham, the women of UK, they help. They're all part of the group. They responded. This is why we're able to communicate, bring artists to their doorstep, communicate, to filter the information to the Gambian artists so that they could all come on board. We enjoy. And then from there, we went further. There was an association called GRAP, Gambia Resource and Advisory Bureau, in which I was like the culture minister, could say. Then we started to establish and introduce the Birmingham Cultural Weekend.
Wow.
It used to be London alone, where everybody will respond to. But when we came together as one, we deemed it important. also to have something in Birmingham because London and Birmingham is like 2 hours. So we said we can able to also entertain the kids that could not have the opportunity to travel to London with their parents so that we can bring culture to their doorstep. This is why Birmingham become unique.
Yeah.
And then Manding Entertainment also, alongside in collaboration with people, we're able to bring the likes of Nyancho, the likes of other Pap Chopet, the likes of Asanjai, the likes of other artists, all happening in the UK. So with supportive and collaboration with the partner, recently Obo was even there. But that's because of somebody who we partnered with to make sure that things happen.
Yeah. Now let's talk about those days of bringing international artists in the UK. After the likes of Maslawi and others, we could see like there were low, promotion or the traveling of Gambian artists to the UK. There was a time when ST, was about to go to the UK. He could not, secure a visa. So many artists were, complaining that, there was a problem of them traveling to perform in the UK. So, promoters there were only focused on Senegalese musicians to come entertain the Senegambians there and the other people. So, how did you change the narratives to start bringing Gambian artists again to the UK? Because we could see from the year when you took Our Gambia, the other year you took ST and Attack. It was first ST and Attack. Then we had, Hussein Dada. Then we have this thing, Our Gambia. Then now Mariama Cham also left with Nancho at the same time, performing. So how did you guys arrange to change the narratives? Because there were no that much support when it comes to Gambian, promoters bringing Gambian artists. They were not that much brave to handle or sponsor Gambian artists to come there. So how did you change the narratives?
Yes, I think it's all about belief. It's all about trust. And then thanks to my brother Njok Malik from the Yaram Arts. Yeah. And then he made a bold move in trying to put trust, to the Gambian artists. Yeah. So in those days we could say going and staying without coming back was the issue between them and the embassy. Okay. Because embassy will not have trust anymore because they will say any Gambian artist that come will never go back. So, but we changed that setup. Okay, I will give credit to my brother Njok, who also reintroduced himself to the system and started believing what we all believe in. To say, let's give them a chance. And giving them those chance, manifest and play a very positive, role within how we do things. Yeah. So believing in the Gambian artists and also them believing in themselves by producing and playing music that we can listen to and dance to.
Yeah, the culture, bringing back their culture back to the people there.
Back to the people. Yeah. That's why
it's easier.
Everything changed.
Yeah, yeah.
So we all start coming up, talking to them, and then trying to get them. Even Jalinaya was there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then more things are happening now in the UK, just like the Gambia. We are believing in our own.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when I was working with Interface Gambia TV, we created something called, support your own. That support your own is paying off by respecting the Gambian artists and the Gambian artists doing their best as musicians. Yeah. That's why everything changed. But to be honest, I give thumbs up to my brother Njok, who, and also another one, Waka. He also did his part. He's trying a lot. He has been trying. And then until this entertainment thing reach here. Yeah. But we believe in them. But business-wise too, we have to also look at other areas, invest into other Senegalese or other artists in order to make more money.
More money, yeah. Yeah, that is where I wanna come on the conversation. Most of the people will be like, okay, Gambian artists, when they go to Europe, they'll be performing in small halls, they'll be performing in, small venues. So, those are kind of talks that, normally the fans will be talking about here. ST is a big artist, or Jalinyaya or Attack is a big artist. Why is Attack not performing at the big venues like Burna Boy, like others? So, me personally, I would not raise a topic like that because I'm aware. I'm aware in the music industry and I'm a very, updated guy when it comes to entertainment. I know the fan base and the type of music that is promoted by the Nigerians is different from Gambian, crowd. So I will just let you talk to the people that are watching us. Why is it that Gambian artists cannot be, hosted in bigger venues than the venues that they are performing? Why is it going like that?
I will not say they are not hosted in bigger venues. Okay. To the fans, no disrespect to any Gambian artist, but let us compare, let's look at things this way. The Senegalese, even the population of Kaolack is bigger than the Gambian population, number one. The population of Nigeria is bigger than Gambia, Senegal, Mauritania, and Mali put together. So they get more travelers outside their country.
Okay.
More people are
out of
outside.
Senegal that are representing the Senegalese flag and
Exactly.
Nigerian flag out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So population-wise, they can fill up a venue. Population-wise, they can fill up a whole stadium. Whereas Gambians, when we go, we don't even fill up Jama Hall.
Oh.
So you cannot invest into a Gambian artist. You go rent O2 and trying to bring Gambian artists that are felt by you. Because most of Gambian musicians now we vibe along with them as Gambians. But they are yet to be exposed
To
to
the
the other
international communities, yeah.
But those people, if you say Burna Boy, is exposed to Nigerians whose population are more than Gambia, Mauritania, and Senegal, and also even the white people.
Wow.
So you see the difference.
Yeah.
So only Nigerians can fill a whole entire stadium, entire O2, even without the white people.
Wow.
Yusundur will play, O2 will be filled up without anyone. But it's different. We don't reach there yet. We are trying, step by step. As you said, they did not used to give them visa. Now they are giving them visa. You see? They were not permitted to go and perform. Now they are performing. Okay, the trust between them and the promoters were lacking. Now the trust is there. So we will open up. It's a lot of investment that needs to be done mentally in able to get people to understand our music. So if you're coming up, Nigerians, they will sing in their local language, but they will blend it. Music have no language, but their beat and the production is of high quality. No disrespect, I'm not saying what Gambian musicians produce are not quality. They are very quality. But also we need a lot to invest into them.
Yeah.
We need a lot of
On our
collaboration,
visuals,
lot of collabos so that we can be recognized internationally. Then there, we can think of filling O2 to capacity.
Yeah, good point, and it's well said. Now, as a promoter, Fax. Now, are you guys making profit in bringing Gambian artists in Europe? To be more specific,
Okay, to
or
be
are you
specific,
just doing it for the love of the craft?
we're doing it to help.
Okay, for
That
now,
is, for now, we're doing it to help, to expose, to give them the opportunity
and the platform. Yeah, for now.
For now,
Yeah, even the Yaram festival, like though that festival I'm seeing.
yes. I don't know. I don't want to speak on behalf of Jog, but me as a promoter, I know.
Yeah, okay.
I know how the game is. I know how it works. We're just helping. We're just giving them the platform. We will invest more personally, not even outside business, to make sure that the Gambian artists get the right platform.
Wow, mashallah.
So that's it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Like to all the Gambian artists that have been watching the show and listening to this show right now, it's good that you listen to him carefully. Most of the time, people will be like, okay, ST them na Europe. He's in Europe. He's back. He come with a lot of money. But then for now, all of us are seeing how it goes. Terms of Antu, for the big turnout of the people that came out to support Antu in this last tour. Antu's tour was one of the most successful tour within this past years. When it comes to Gambian music, I don't know whether you can attest to that.
Well, I've been watching.
Yeah.
I've been saying because even Antu is a nephew.
Okay.
Antu, roll up. He grew up in Touray.
Yeah.
That's our house.
Yeah.
He grew up in T-Town, so he knows how to do business, how to represent himself well. So, and then also, we've captivated a lot of fans. Recently, most people shifted their attention to Antu. They're watching onto him. They like his vibes. It is luck. It's something that he worked for. All we need to say, let him keep it up, let him push, and then, let him do things according to the standard of music
Yeah.
and then move around. But I've been watching his shows. I've seen the response from the diaspora. It was very wonderful.
Yeah, congrats on that. And big up to all the people that have been supporting too. And our facts, when we talk about facts and demanding entertainment, what are your plans? What are your future plans? You've been coming back to the Gambia in every December and the holiday season. You normally come and scout Gambian artists. So what are your plans for the next year and the coming years when it comes to entertainment and branding artists here in the Gambia and outside the Gambia?
Yeah, what we Manding Entertainment now, we're trying to do is to rebrand ourselves in the Gambia.
Okay.
Where we going to stay, we're just going to be like scouts.
Okay.
And then to give every Gambian artist the opportunity to travel with us. Because we don't want to base it on the UK alone.
Okay.
We want to expand to have European tours with artists. We want to also create, we are working on it, to have our own record label.
Okay.
Where we will able to sign an artist professionally and then deal with the artist professionally. We grow together and get what we're supposed to get together.
Yeah.
So these are all part of the plans, and it needs a lot of documentation and time, because we don't want to rush it. We also want to deal with the right people. Because if you look at Manding Entertainment, I collaborate more with the community, more with people. Even in trying to bring artists, I collaborate with even individuals to able to use the brand of Manding Entertainment in order to get the Gambian artists the right platform that they deserve. So we're working on that. We want to come here, represent, sign artists, put them into our label, give them the right contracts that they deserve outside the Gambia, so that each can have whatever you're supposed to have, and then so that you can feel that music is doing something in your life.
Mashallah. Now, when it comes to Gambian music, you've been watching closely on the Gambian artists and the music industry back home here. Even you are in the UK. Now, sitting back in the UK there, when you are watching the boys online and watching the movements and everything that is going on online, what do you see lacking? Behind, you'll be like, okay, this artist, this thing, if we have to adjust this thing on the industry and stop doing this, the industry can move forward, because you guys are like the picture. You'll be like the how can I say it? You can be the main, the frame,
the architect
guys. Yeah, the right word, the architect guys that can at least see the hidden points in the hidden points of where you can fix and to make things happen. If you were to be asked, what are those things that can be touched or that can be done so that the industry can go a little bit forward? As a fan and as a music head, that is there in the diaspora.
I'm gonna speak as a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, discipline.
Okay.
I mean, you can see that discipline is very lacking.
Okay.
Within most Gambian artists, with most Gambian musicians.
Now, when we talk about discipline,
when I talk about discipline, is to respect what you do with consistency.
Okay.
Going into studio and record and come out does not make you a musician. You understand? Believe in yourself is important, but respect what you are doing. Know the message you send out to people. Let it correspond with your outside music career. If you are on stage, an outside stage, what you manifest to the people by holding the mic, so definitely identify who you are, even if you don't hold the mic or if you are not on stage. It's very important within our industry. So, and also proper investment. We need to invest properly to get the quality of music that can sell our image internationally. I am not saying we don't have good producers. We have. But if I listen to most beats, it's just like one tempo all the time. One kind of stick all the time. And then you could see many artists, they will fail to deliver in their punchlines, which is very key in music. I don't want to go more, but because I'm in front of camera, but I will just base it on discipline. Because if you are disciplined, you know what you want. You need to figure out all this. I will give you an example. The late Chonseka, he was very disciplined in music. This is why he will listen to the beat, he will listen to the instrument, he will listen to everything, and he will direct and say, "Li su gene, ñi suñ ko déggé dañoo mer. Li su déggé ñi suñ ko déggé du baax. Kaddu bi ñaaw na. Kaddu bi waruta am. Society bi ni lañ ko bilé. Harama am discipline ci li. Harama defé ko ni." This is what built up a musician. But musician yo kenn do bëgga binda. Understand nga? Te jànguloo ko. Ra dafa important. You need to learn to able to focus on your discipline when it comes to music. Dama use the word discipline because dafa umba lu bari.
Generalize.
So bëgguma ko faram fànce you know because I don't wanna.
Attitudinal change tamit.
Yes, it's all part of the discipline. It's all part of the discipline. That's why I use that generic word.
Yeah. What about the side of the managers too? Like artists. Sometimes you be coming in the Gambia or you be in Europe, where you want to work with an artist or you want to communicate with an artist. Sometimes people are complaining that to get some artists on a phone or to get artists in communication and doing business with them is really a problem on certain promoters and what is your experience with the Gambian artists on that?
That's very true. It's all part of the discipline I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because I realized one important thing. Most Gambian artists or some Gambian artists, they feel too big.
Yeah.
When they have a little crowd that follows them. They started changing their numbers to become private. They will become super difficult. Even if you are giving them contracts, because I don't want to speak. I've given a lot of contracts to most Gambian artists here without being saying or talking about it. But even my partners, if they call those artists to get them on phone, it's a big problem. They have to come back to me
to help
communicate, which is unfair. It's not fair. We are there to create the platform for you, to give you the opportunity to earn little dalasi or butut. Respect that, get that discipline. Okay, you should be reachable. If you want to base it in one way or the other, you could say, okay, have a general line that if anybody needs you, they can get you through. And also you being able to intervene when necessary. If you can leave things with your artist, with your manager, but you also have the right to intervene for your own interest as an artist. But if you are not reachable, how can that work? Yeah. That's very true. Yeah, most of them are too big.
Too big, yeah.
Too big. Because I'll give you an example. Me, this is the only line I have in my entire life. If anybody reach me, you know how it works.
Yeah, you are here. You are there to be communicated. So now, Fax. If you were to invest in any Gambian artist, as a investor, if you were to invest in any Gambian artist, generalize the attitudinal change, the habits, the discipline. In which artist are you gonna invest your money in the Gambia? Not a fan, but then like an investor to make money for you and just.
That's a very difficult question to answer now because all the Gambian artists are my fans. So I don't want to say A or B or C, but they know what they know. They know what I know. So I will keep that.
You're going to keep it?
I will keep that as a secret in the meantime.
Okay.
But I will communicate that to you solo.
Okay, no
secretly, but most of them know because I'm trying to invest in some of them.
Yeah.
And then we have a bigger plan together. We're working on serious projects where we want to keep it low at the moment until later, where we will come out to the public and advertise or announce it.
Yeah.
So I will invest, but I will keep it a secret.
No problem, Mr. Fax. Fax, we are coming to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure having you here with me. You are a good brother, and one of the biggest thing that have made me respect you is that you always advises me and you always motivate me.
Yes.
You always keep pushing me to the limit. Anytime you talk with me online, you be like, Raka, yangfa, ni local fee, ni. You always been that motivated to me.
No,
like I know I've been holding down with many elders in the industry, like in the beginning of my career. So most of these elders, there was a time, in my difficult times, when I text them online on Facebook, they be thinking like I need something from them or I need money from them. They all blacklisted me. It's like they never believed in me. But you are one of those guys from the beginning of my career. Anytime I see you on Facebook, I text you, bro, it's me, Ra. You be like, okay, Raka, sama sandamba bi ma wola, ma call la, bro. You call me, we talk, or you text me, you have to talk. Sometimes I'm even the one who is gonna be like, okay, let me just ignore bro. I know he wants to chat. Sometimes I'll be in my busy schedules, but bro is always there for me. There are people that even wants to come back to me right now. They wanna work with me. They wanna come have that relationship with me, but they could not because they sidelined me the time I was struggling. But you are one of those guys that believed in me. That's why you see me like right now. You don't see many people that are those days with me right now. Right now, I'm coping with them. I don't know whether you understand what I'm talking about.
I understand what you're talking about. Because I've seen you yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember you used to even train in my house.
Yeah.
With Allah.
Yeah.
Junior Sam.
Yeah.
When we have shows, I remember one day, you came and said, bro, fax play you. Boy, you don't want to egg lady stage. Play you, boy. I was emceeing with Rati B International.
Yeah.
You came and then I said, Raka, is it a play? You say, why, boy, you sandol and you yakar. When you come, manala na 5 o'clock training la, ngen yo ngen daw, mabaye len nek bi ngen use and voice train. Xam nga time bobu because man luma gis yen what I've seen in you was huge.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell this to people, there is no stupid musician.
Yeah.
No. Yalla mayut musician empty brain.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who holds the mic and sing is gifted.
Mm-hmm.
Because the composure, the punchline, how you talk, how you release your message is always important. If you are not brilliant, you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, a poet who delivers in immense of poetry. An artist man, I've seen the mother gis fusuri.
Yeah.
Understand?
The person have been there, the person was been there. So, like we've been struggling.
So that is it. This is why, man. This is it. Me, if you know me, you know me better. But all my old friends are kept because they are my salvation. I don't feel big towards anybody. Even the smallest time, the little time I have, if anybody reach out to me, this is why I don't change number. Anybody who reach out to me, I listen. Even if I cannot give you financial assistance, I'll give you moral assistance.
Yeah, mashallah.
That's how life is. We should. Why would we run away? You shouldn't run. You la one Demba.
Yeah.
We've seen Demba together struggle up till days. So we shouldn't run away. Yàlla daf la wërsëgal rek ubbil la fii kële mu ngi koo xaar. Nekkul na du ñu may de. We all gonna have our share. Time la rek.
Yeah. Mashallah. Brother Fax, thank you so much for coming. So you can, talk to your fans and the people that are watching you.
What I want to say is let's support our own ultimate podcast, Ultimate PDA. No, I'm not doing an advertisement, but for all your major events, if you want quality, you can contact him. To be honest, it's a domestic, product who will give you a very international production. A local business.
Yeah, let them go and watch the Busy Signal concert. We did wonders on that one.
Just watch where we took Busy from the airport to the hotel, from the hotel to the stage, from the stage. Come on, we mash up with Ultimate.
Yeah, go and check it. It's gonna come on YouTube, but the main video is already on YouTube. But then watch out for the 48 hours with Busy Signal. That production, mashallah, that one I killed it, man.
I just want to thank everybody watching. But one important thing I want to tell people, ñu waxoon ne musician yi démb ba liggéey wuñ fi dara si music industry bi. I just want them to swallow that. Artistes yi démb ba liggéey nañ de. ñoo xalal yoon bi. I could remember year 2000, 1999-2000. Fugitives represented the Gambia in Senegal. From Dakar, base of Dakar, the Liberté 6, Liberté 5. 4 tons inside Dakar. Foo for life, they just the Gambia. To Gambia. So, liggéey nañ. Generation B, then the internet, the media. Media be more feeñal lu bari. Why it doesn't make the artist demba liggéeyuñ. Ko loolu dama ko dee dégg bu baax ndax ma dee na xari. Koto yi demba defuñ fi dara si music industry bi. Koto yu demba ñoo teetee yu bari. And especially man music demba bu tey.
Non Sam mu ngi war a ñëw suma broske. Man jëloon naa number mi Sam ma ko war a andi.
So liggéey nañ
Sam next week su nekkee ne delluwul. Next week dafa war a ñëw.
Exactly.
Next week.
Liggéey nañ ñoo xalal yoon bi ñoo feeñal Gambia ñoo yóbbu Gambia fu nekk. Representing Gambia in all concerts. Europe, everywhere. So you buy xel si kaddu yooyu MC yu ndaw yi MC yu mag yi maa leen di gërëm di leen sant DJ yu ndaw DJ yu mag yi maa leen di gërëm maa leen di sant seen liggéey rafet na yéen a ngi ko teg ci yoon di leen ne daal ñun amuñ dara lu dul Gambia
macha allah jërëjëf bro dafa am lu ma bëggoon a laajte balaa nga dem fàtte naa ko ma laajte la ko balaa ñuy close dafa nekk a very little question gisoon nañ last year ngeen defoon a headline of kii MC Mbaye ñëpp dañ kontaanoon ak Jali Ñaaya after mu jëwu ñoo gis soo bi mu happen balal ma rek comme ñu leeral loolu because gisoon nañ ne ba MC Mbaye seewoon na flyer bi ñëpp kontaanoon nen so lan la woon ñaa lack of visa la ndax comme after soo bi da ngeen ko skip ndax
non du lack of visa du lack of anything waaye loolu was just some technical issues.
Okay.
waaye soo ko bàyyi xel man maa ngi postoon dara maa jali naa ñëwoon na ba Angleterre.
Waaw
we were there but we want to organize something bigger because time bi moo amutoon.
waaw
yow xam nga December January. kenn du dee nekk Europe.
waaye
so ba pare we want to plan it better. so that when they come they have a better reception.
Okay, no problem.
loolu la ñu ñaan rek waaye. They were there. They are our favorites. We still love them. We just gonna keep them.
Wow, okay.
We just want to make sure Kuneka am a share.
Wow, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making that clear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, bro. Yeah.